In 1937, Japan began its invasion of China. It started in northern China and soon it spread to southern China. In August 13th, the campaign of Shanghai began. In the south of Suzhou River, thousands of Westerners are protected by the diplomatic security of the international settlement, while the north of the river was burnt to hell within 3 months after the campaign broke out. Our story today begins along the Suzhou River. In the north of Suzhou River, Sihang warehouse was used as a fortress of the Chinese army. 400 soldiers were garrisoned in this building, and they were the last troop to retreat in the Battle of Shanghai. The remains of the bullet holes are like scars on the modern city, reminding its people of their recent past. This is much bigger than I thought. I've only seen it in photos. Why the Chinese chose this site? When we see the map, we can see that the Sihang warehouse is right on the north side of the Suzhou River. Suzhou River was the border of Chinese administration zone and the international settlement. The Japanese dared not to offend the English and American settlers, and this ambiguous position protected the Chinese troops. Furthermore, this location also gives the inspectors from the League of Nations a better angle to see the battle scene. An ancient and weak country is counting on these guys to push away its rising and ambitious neighbor. The battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Xie Jinyuan, was ordered to lead 400 men hold the warehouse against 500,000 desperate Japanese soldiers as long as he could. He has to show China's courage and determination to protect its own sovereignty and also hold attacked the Japanese to buy time for the main force to retreat. In other words, he was ordered to die to minimize the losses of Chinese army. The toughness of the battle is similar to the Battle of Thermopylae for the Spartans. But Lieutenant Colonel Xie didn't have the bless of Achilles. After 7 days of defense, Xie retreated to the international settlement. There is a heroic and brief interlude happened during the defense. A Girl Scout, Yang Huimin, in the international settlement, saw Japanese flags were all around the Sihang warehouse, and the Chinese national flag was missing. She quickly found a flag, covered herself, and swam across the Suzhou River. She gave the flag to the commander and cheered the soldiers up.
团长，国旗，
是国旗，国旗。
谢谢你。
国旗，国旗。
国旗。 The story of the commander and the girl who delivered the national flag was well remembered in Taiwan and even taught in high school courses.
And it's specifically significant to us because back in the high school educations, we all notice those films where there are brave soldiers fighting in that warehouse. So there is one intelligence Girl Scout named Yang Huimin, who actually swam through the river and with the national flag in her chest and then delivered to those soldiers at the warehouse.
Xie Jinyuan was assassinated by a traitor to China in 1941. As both a national hero and a hero of the Kuomintang Party, Xie's heroic defense was made into propaganda materials. He was a cover figure of many magazines, and his story was made into a propaganda film in Taiwan. During the Cultural Revolution, these former Kuomintang soldiers who protected Shanghai and China were seen as the class enemies. Those alive were badly treated, and the dead were even worse. Xie's tomb was destroyed by the angry people, and his name was removed from the history. I, myself, got to know this story by accident. 2011, I was watching a show from a Hong Kong television channel, and the first time I heard the Battle of Shanghai. Yeah. After years of reform, it is finally allowed for the people to memorize Xie publicly. We left our pity there, together with the freezing wind and the winding river. The river of modernity pushes Shanghai to a more cyberpunky one. And we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.